Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the Summer of Soul. This is a documentary concert musical kind of hybrid thing about, hey, 1969. You remember that big festival that took place in 1969? Those of you who are over 50, maybe, you might remember that? No? Yeah? Woodstock? It's not about that. There was another festival happening in Harlem at the same time, about 100 miles away. Yeah, in Harlem. This is called the Harlem uh, Cultural Festival. My brain just went away for a second and will probably disappear again soon. The Harlem Cultural Festival took place over a number of weeks, and it really is kind of a touchstone for a number of musicians and a lot of people in New York City and beyond who gathered there by the tens of thousands to fill up that space in that park. If you don't know where Harlem is north of Central Park in Manhattan, and just beyond that, there's also another park where this took place. And I've done music festivals myself. I've been taken part in organizing them and involved in helping to promote them and worked at them and things like that. It is no small undertaking to do something like this, and the people behind it I think his name's Tony Lawrence. He is known as a guy who is very on the go, and he is very much the guy who is responsible for making this happen. And it's the kind of basically what you get beyond some amazing, iconic historical moments in this concert footage. You get to see and hear from the people in the audience, the people who were on the stage, and all the different things that go into it. And during this very tense time in our history, the Vietnam War was going on. We just had, over the last few years before this, we had 2 Kennedys killed, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and just tensions were high. Sound familiar? Well, guess what? 1969 probably was worse. We are just much more loud about our conflicts now on the internet. They did not have that so much then at all. So in this, by the way, I'm trying to think, hey, I'm having trouble remembering the name, the Harlem Cultural Festival. Why is that? Because I've never heard of it before. Yes, I'm white. I've never heard of it before. I bet you there's black people who have never heard of this as well. Why is that? Well, they tell you right up front at the beginning. This concert over many weeks actually got filmed because in the process of, one of the things they talk about in this was, it costs money to put on a show and to get bands to come and think that they might even have an audience, and who knows, some of them might get paid, maybe. It's a free concert, by the way, to anybody who wanted to come, young and old. Everybody could come to this, and they did. A lot of people did. And they said, well, what about, there's going to be a lot of great acts on this stage. We should film it. We should record all this stuff. They did do that. There's a lot of great performances on this. They start out, they show us, and so you get an idea of the caliber of acts in this show that everybody knows. Everybody knows Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder's the first performer you see in this concert music documentary. But then they go on to show Gladys Knight and the Pips, The Fifth Dimension, Sly and the Family Stone, Mahalia Jackson. Seriously, there's a load of people through this of all different types of soul, gospel, blues, all types of music, and how it crossed over. Lin-Manuel Miranda even shows up at some point with his dad, I think, and they talk about how the Afro-Cuban inspired music also played a big part in this. It's kind of amazing, but so it was all filmed. What happened to it? It sat on a shelf for 50 years. 50 years. That's 2019. And somebody's like, oh yeah, we got this. Nobody looked for it. Nobody thought about it. Nobody knew it existed. There's people who filmed it, people who created it and tried to sell it, but all anybody wanted to talk about in 1969 was Woodstock. Yeah, and all the craziness that went down there. If you compare the craziness, if you look at any of the historic films about Woodstock, that was crazy town compared to what went down at this festival. At least they don't show anything that went down negatively at this show. Maybe there was, and it's not included here. I don't know, but all the footage that I've seen in this looks pretty great. Does get a little crowded at times. Some people are pushing around, when Sly and the Family Stone start to come out. But still, it was in a time when there's a call for action and a call to stand up and push back against people who would oppress and harm and denigrate them. It was a pretty say peaceful concert situation. Kids were there. There's gospel acts. So yeah, it's a kind of a concert kind of thing that's all over the board, culturally and racially. And but it's still some amazing music. And by the way, some of this footage that you see here is seen for the very first time anywhere, is available here, and I believe it's on Hulu as well. But prior to the making of this, nobody had seen it. And there's even footage, there's interviews with a number of people, including performers like Marilyn McCoo from Fifth Dimension, and I forget the other guy's name. Come on. Anyway. They were watching their performance for the first time in 50 years in this video. It's pretty mind-bending for them to go, I was there, we performed, never saw this. It's partially heartbreaking. It's emotional. It's beautiful. It brings back a flood of memories for everybody who's there and everybody they interviewed. And it's something to behold. It's some astounding music. It's some astounding performances. And it sounds great. You probably want to, plug in your surround sound if you got a kind of home that will allow you to crank up the sound. I do not. I cannot crank this. But it's worth checking out. A number of famous people you'll recognize throughout this that they interview, not just performers. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, let's see, blah, 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 blah. Well, I told you, Lin-Manuel Miranda from Hamilton, Greg Tate, where are you going? Gladys Knight is in this. It's, if you know anything about, Sheila E., there you go, Sheila E., and of course, Chris Rock even shows up in a little bit of this. So to me, it's fascinating to see this piece of lost history unearthed, and I love being that I had taken part in making festivals happen. I know this kind of thing is difficult to create, and it would have. I wish we could have filmed more of the stuff, the concerts I had done back in the day with my friends and so many other amazingly talented people that I was lucky to work with. There's some people who have filmed some of the shows that I emceed that I would love to get a hold of all that video, but it's all in video VHS magnetic tape. It's not digitized as far as I know. This is digitized. So if you're interested in this probably came out, by the way, in 2021 in February during Black History Month. If you're interested in Black history, Black music, and oh, by the way, yeah, I'm white guy. Oh, you're using the right word. There is a point where, yes, a lot of change happens in this, and you kind of get a pretty good explanation that even in the media around this time is when they stopped using the term Negro and started using the term Black. It's a bit of a cultural revolution that kind of boiled out of this time, this place, and no better place. Jesse Jackson is at one point on stage, very young, but even Stevie Wonder, 19 years old when he's performing at this thing. there's a point in Jesse Jackson's like, hey, you know, we're not European, we're not African. Yes, our families came from there. But we're a whole new thing. And this is very much about helping, talking about identity and staking their claim as a people. So this is absolutely fun to check out, and I say you do it next chance you get. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Let's try this.
467.
I knew it. I knew I'd forget the moment I did that. But man, we're right in the 400s again. We're not leaving the 400s. Okay, I'm going to look at what it is, but I'm not going to tell you, and I'll tell you why. Because tomorrow is the premiere of Peter Pan and Wendy. Yes, Peter Pan and Wendy. This is a live-action film, of course. Oh, it's Peter Pan and Wendy, or just Peter and Wendy? Peter Pan and Wendy. You want to make sure you clarify who the Peter is. We got a lot of Pete's in Disney. Pete's Dragon. So that's all I can think of right now. But so yeah, tomorrow we're not going to watch 467, but I'll get to that tomorrow. And then after that on Saturday, we'll get to that one. But tomorrow, Peter Pan and Wendy, the world premiere happening tomorrow, Friday. Talk to you later on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge.